What up, though, everybody? This is Kyle, and you are back here for another episode of Podcast Gold. This is Knockouts and Three Counts. Corey, how the fuck you doing? You got you a crispy new hat. I got me some crispy new Jordans. It's a good way to start a motherfucking Tuesday.
I'm trying to keep it up, man. For anybody who tuned into yesterday's show, I was able to our actual Monday out of the blue with XFC president, and it was an incredible show, man. But for those of you who were able to watch it, I kind of gave a little peek for all of you who will be keeping up. I'm gonna try to keep a new hat coming every episode, man. It's gonna be quite an endeavor, but here we are, day number 2 with the clean white on teal Memphis Grizzlies. Let's go.
Fuck the Grizzlies, man. We got more important things to talk about. We got the guest of tonight. We've got a guy that we got to meet down there in Texas while we were working over at Pele Wrestling that was live on Fight TV. We've got the man himself, Mr. Icon Lee. How you doing, brother, man?
I'm doing good. You've got the promo king, Icon. I'm here. And it was damn good to see you down in Texas.
Hey, likewise, brother.
Were you there the first time and the second time? Right?
I was there for both shows. Corey wasn't, because I can't drag this motherfucker out of his house.
Man, do you know how hard it would be to try to explain to the old lady, hey, I know we haven't taken a vacation entirely too long, but I'm also going to just go randomly this weekend when I get invited the week before.
Well, Corey, when you're Icon, they fly you out. I don't have to ask an old lady. They just say, Icon, we have a plane ticket. We need you down there to kick Will AllDay's ass. And that's what I tried to do.
All right.
No bat signal?
He said no bat signal. He said no bat signal for you. He said you don't got a call-in sign for Icon Lee.
Batman, that's a different universe. That's DC. I mean, I would think Magneto first, but it is what it is, okay. Right?
Well played.
Right.
Well, throw out all your social media and let everybody know where they can see these crazy promos that you speak of.
At Icon Lee. It's that simple.
Hey, man, I like it. See, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. You got to have it to where it's easily accessible. Well, like you mentioned, we met you down there.
A wrestler named The Titan. He gave me that name. So he has a cool name. I think it all has to do with the name. You can't just have any name. Certain names are marketable. Certain names aren't. So that leads me into a great question, though. You know, you talk about these purges, you talk about these excursions that you're on. Well, before we get into those, how did Icon Lee come to be? Well, I originated my whole persona and aurora and everything about me in the vibes of Dubai. So I was started off by representing Dubai, which to me represents wealth, money, and power. So I had a golden cloth that I simply wrapped around my face. So I was doing the whole face covers before COVID, because I started wrestling training in 2017. And then I started finally getting my first bookings in the United States, Cincinnati, Ohio in 2018. So I would wrap the gold cloth around my face, and I had, like my chain, I would come out with like a gold chain. I would later upgrade my chain. And that's how that started. And I was looking for a sheep to follow me, a loyal sheep. It always starts that way, right? You need a loyalist, and that's what I was looking for.
Now, if you would have got Iron Sheik, that would have been fucking dope. That guy's got like the best Twitter in wrestling. Period.
Yeah, he's good on Twitter. I was gonna say maybe not like right now in the ring, but
he's got the best Twitter ever.
Yeah, he's crazy on there. I can't knock him.
All right. Well, sorry for interrupting. You were telling us the story.
I don't like to be interrupted, but you're pretty funny, so it's okay. I'll
that's better than some of them that we get, so I'll take it.
Well, I was trained by a professional. I'm not ignorant, but I do command respect.
I appreciate it. Well, like I said, we were talking about Icon Lee and its origins, but I've been paying attention. We've been doing our research. Tell me, since we talked about Pele Pro, what were your thoughts on your first 2 outings at Pele Pro? And, knowing that you're based out of Ohio, how'd you like Texas? I mean, I'm kind of pissed being that I'm from Detroit, because that's twice I went to Texas and twice it was fucking cold. So
Yeah.
I feel like I got gypped. So what were your thoughts on Pele Pro Wrestling and what were your thoughts on Texas?
Well, there's multiple thoughts about that. First off, I like Texas. Texas was great. It was cold. It felt like Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky area. So that wasn't any difference. It was really cold. But other than that, it's really big. It's like, when you get there, everything's flat. I lived in Florida for 2 years too, so I'm kind of used to, the flat and just vast. Ohio's like hilly and, Kentucky's a little flat, but it's just not like that. The sheep are amazing. People are great. I didn't have too many peasants to deal with. And as far as Pele Pro, it's great. I love it. They gave me my start in Texas, so I'll always respect them for that. And the very first outing that I had, I was victorious. I kicked all of their asses. Shady Frank, I kicked his ass, slapped him in the face. That Balak Bridges, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. He's good. He's a champion right now somewhere in Texas. I don't know. But I kicked his ass. I pinned him with the Vibes driver. 1, 2, 3. It was over for him. And I walked out victorious. Now, the second time, it was, I guess I got what I deserved, right? Winning, I got my championship opportunity against William. And that bastard, he walked in all cocky. And I tried to hold my own. And then there were stupid peasants in the crowd distracting me. Clearly, I turned my head and he hit me with the fucking super kick. And that pissed me off. I never say that word. But that really pissed me off. So, and I lost. And I expect Kyle, Mr. Kyle, the promoter, to give me a rematch because I am Icon and that's what I demand. But yeah.
I was going to say,
that,
I'm Kyle too. I don't know that I can make matches at Pele Pro, but hey.
Well, there's only one Icon.
All right. So that brings me to another great question. Why does everybody got beef with Will AllDay? When we had Myron Reed on, he was rolling up and talking about how he's talking about rolling up Will AllDay. You come on here and talking about Will AllDay pissed you off. Man, why is everybody pissed at Will AllDay?
Do you see how he walks in? He walks in with the jacket. I walk in with a jacket, but I'm focused. I'm focused on the match. He walked in, gave me some smug look, and he was very quiet online. I didn't like that. I didn't respect that. I felt like it was disrespect, not retaliating towards me. I thrive with that. I need a false hero to do what I do best. And he was just very, I didn't respect that at all. And that's why I took the photo with Myron Reed to send him a message right before Myron actually had a match with him to let him know that, he's got a lot of enemies. And it's got something's got to give. Maybe that championship. I don't know. ROW might need to make that title on the line. He needs to put it on the line. He needs to be forced to put it on the line again at Pele Pro against me, to be honest.
Well, reality of wrestling, ROW, as he just mentioned, it'd be a great step up for you. Both Booker T and his brother Stevie are past guests of this show. But, no. Corey, I've been flapping my gums for a minute. What kind of questions you got for Icon Lee?
Well, you started to allude on it earlier, but I was curious. You got nominated with the name Icon. What's the meaning behind that?
Well, the guy's Titan, so the name Titan itself is an honorable name. So to be given that name and to carry that name, it's I add the Lee because that's my part of my name too. It's my middle initial, so Icon Lee. But to have that name, you have to go hard for that name, and I think that I go hard for that name. That's what it means to me, and it means that I am in control of the sheep that follow. I'm their icon. I'm your leader. You too, Corey.
That was another perfect question I had. Way to segue it right
have the
in
perfect
there
questions all of a sudden. He has the perfect question.
Why sheep? Why are we, as your loyal following, known as sheep?
Well, do you want to be a peasant? Do you want to be a peasant?
That's a good point. It's a good point.
You want me to call you a fan? Do you like that? Fan, it's so boring.
Supporter. I prefer supporter, damn it.
You are a supporter.
I prefer
loyal supporter, Corey. A supporter of your icon. And I can call you my sheep. Am I wrong?
It's
Look,
no worse than being a fan
hey,
of Slipknot and being called a maggot. So I guess I will take sheep.
That's an
I
insect. I
mean,
wouldn't call you an insect. I'd rather call you an animal. A sheep.
how is that? Look, how
But
is that any
I mean,
worse
it's a
than how
metaphor.
Godfather used to
You're
call
using
his
a
lovely
metaphor now.
entourage host?
Say it again.
I said, how is that any worse? That it can't be no worse than the Godfather trying to call his lovely entourage host. So I mean, hey,
No.
wrestling's got a pastime of or let's go down the list. You got edgeheads, you've got let's see, keep going. There's a bunch of dumb names that have come up with in
Well,
wrestling.
hold on. Let's get one thing
What-
straight. My name isn't the name Sheeps. You guys aren't dumb. You guys are smart because you're following the right guy, me. You
All
don't
right.
want to follow a false hero. You want
Don't want
to
to follow a false hero. All right.
Yeah.
Well, does Icon Lee okay, that's a question for you. So does Icon Lee have anybody that he was looking up to in the wrestling business before he made his debut to start his purge?
Oh yeah, The Undertaker
Okay.
and Lil Wayne. He's not a wrestler, but those are the two right there. You want to put it together? That's what you got.
So go ahead, Corey.
How does Lil Wayne inspire the character that we see before us?
Well, because you have to look at the whole. My Instagram is genius. So if you look at the Instagram, you'll see how I started and how I've evolved. So before what you see now, the darkness that I've been taught by Lady Lazarus, who you can follow on Instagram. She's brilliant. I was more catering towards the sheep. You know, I had my chain, which now I've given to my second protege, Chris Demise. I had a nice chain. I would have my Gengar chain. I was all about the jewelry and the flash until I discovered the darkness. So that's how. But Lil Wayne, he's a brilliant man. He's a genius, and he's a lot of my posts are inspired by how he is a metaphorical genius with his rap. So if you ever see me posting riddles, just know often that it's inspired by him. But what you see now is inspired by Undertaker and other things, Magneto. There's a lot of things that inspire your icon. It's brilliant. You have to have inspirations. JBL once said, when I was watching WrestleMania years ago on commentary, he said, you see your idols and you realize that you are them. So I feel like if you're not inspired by someone, then what's the point of following or pursuing something such as professional wrestling or any form of.
Very good point. Well, you led again into another one of the questions that I had. You know, again in my research, you know, you mentioned a couple of proteges. You know, you're still young into the game yourself.
Yeah, I'm 25.
So,
right?
so how does that come to be? Tell us a little bit about these proteges and how does a guy so young like yourself already got people following the way?
Well, to take you back to the beginning of the podcast when I explained to you that I was looking for a sheep within the Northern Wrestling Federation, which is based in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was looking for a sheep and everyone would decline my offer. And funny enough, the Titan was the general manager of this particular event. And he came out and was like, yo, you have 5 minutes, icon. No one wants to be your sheep, or you have to get out of my ring. And then, I just looked around and I said, this stupid referee, I can turn him into something special. And that's when I made him get on one knee. The footage is on YouTube. I'll share it. He hates it when I share it, but I'll share it. And he has to get on his knee and I smack him in the face and I pin him and he's my sheep. And that was 2 years ago. And since then, he's now the prodigy. He's the Northern Wrestling Federation Unified Champion. And yeah, he's good. He's been on Warrior Wrestling. He's the prodigy Kobe Kane. That was my first protege, and he kind of got free because they put up a stipulation where I had to put his contract on the line. But it's always like father, like son, so it doesn't really matter. He's always going to be, the prodigy.
So about that, so you talk about he had to get on one knee and you smack the shit out of him. Now, was there any inspiration to this from the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club?
Oh, and you compare
because that's the first thing popped into my mind when you said this, that he's got to get down on one knee. I'm thinking Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club.
Yeah, I mean, he just had to do that because that's what I demanded at that time.
No,
And
I
was
get
about
it.
respect.
I'm just saying, was there any thought process into that coming from there?
No, I don't think of other forms of that. I don't think of that. No, I don't think of.
Okay, I just had to throw that out there. But
Yeah,
you know, you
that was
talk
a great
about,
segment.
hey man, you know, you talk about proteges, you talk about purges. So if with the way the world's been going with since COVID, the world's turned into a pretty fucking crazy place. So if the world was going to go through a purge, which some days it seems like we might still do so, what would
Those
be
films are great,
icon?
by the way. Those films are great, right?
That they are, and the masks have been ripped off by about like how many kids on Halloween and about 125 wrestlers.
Yeah.
Hey man, I've seen the light up masks. I swear, I feel like everywhere I go, you see like,
Violet Bridges, he has one, right? I slapped it off his face.
man, I don't get it, man. The light up mask. So if we were to go through a purge and you had one night you had to make it through, what would be Icon Lee's purge strategy in this one?
Me, I'm not going out there. Why would I go out and join the sheep?
But you're saying you want to purge them. That's your chance.
No, the sheep, you purge. I say we all purge, meaning you purge, not me. I'm not going to go out there. You crazy?
Oh, I see how this shit goes. So you get to be the evil dictator, and we just got to play around like dummies. I see how this goes.
I'm not evil at all. I'm not evil.
You see, Corey, I'm starting to feel like we're being deceived here. All right. This guy's over here talking about being sheep isn't a bad thing. And then you're telling me if we had a purge, I got to go out and do the dirty work. What kind of shit is this?
I mean, obviously, why would you want your icon to go out? I have to lead you all.
You got to lead by example.
Why would you?
I stumped him. I stumped him. Hey man, I had to see what the purge strategy would be, man, because the closest I got is Call of Duty Zombies, man. So I've never been through a purge, but since you are the master of purges over here, I thought you would be the one with the best strategy for this one.
No, I'm not going to advocate for any of that.
You're not going to advocate for the purge.
I, as your icon, would never go out and join you sheep and such things.
Corey, that's what's wrong with the leaders of today, man. This guy's over here telling me that I got to go out and do the purging, but yet he's taking credit for my purging. Come on, man.
You have to go buy my shirt now. That's what I'm going to tell you to do. You have to go buy the We All Purge shirt and be a sheep that way.
You go buy you a Knockouts 3-count shirt and we'll talk about it.
Where could we purchase one of those shirts?
Yeah, let us know where we can purchase them. You're throwing out the demands here, sir.
This guy, he's on one right now.
Hey, I just been throwing the mail too much. But where can we get an Icon Lee Rise Up shirt? I saw those and retweeted them. If you're following us at KO3C Pod, you've seen them earlier this week.
Chicago's very own ProWrestlingTees.com.
Hey, we got a store up there too. So get you a shirt. Yeah. Get you a shirt. All right.
I love it. They're brilliant too.
Hey, they really are. They truly provide an incredible service for the industry. I mean, let alone just inside the wrestling world. There's so many people even outside the wrestling world that are involved with those guys. They really do a lot. A quality
it helps
service.
Legitimize your brand.
Yep. Yeah. Very, very much so.
I think a lot of professional wrestlers should actually create a Pro Wrestling Tees account, especially now that they allow, you don't have to have a limit of followers. I mean, if you don't have one, it's just like, why don't you have one?
Yeah, I just got one started for us, for the show here recently. And it's like, that's the thing, man. Cause like, when you go through merchandise and you go through that whole deal, it's like you'll pre-order how many shirts. And then the next thing you know, it's like half the people that say they're going to end up getting them don't end up getting them. And then you end up stuck with shirts. So I feel like the way to go now with Pro Wrestling Tees being like it is, you order however many people say they're ordering and that's it. And then the rest of them, you got to get it off the store and it's that simple.
That's right, man. I totally agree.
So
the link, you can just have the link posted on your social media and it's actually perfect.
Well, you mentioned social media. Tell me a little bit about that. You do a good job with your social media and, letting people know where the next purge is taking place. Tell me a little bit about, your thoughts on social media and all those kind of things, and why, what would you say as a guy who's coming up? Because I feel like now more than ever, social media is like one of the most important things, because if you're not doing enough to try to push yourself out, nobody else is going to know what you're doing. So
they're not going to care.
Exactly. So tell me a little bit about that. You're really active on social media. There's always different promos coming out. Tell me a little bit about, if there's anybody maybe that you look to on social media that, helped inspire how you're doing yours, and why do you think it's that important to all young wrestlers? And for that matter, we cover MMA as well, to young fighters as well.
Well, I actually know an MMA fighter, Cole Sutton.
Okay.
But I would say persistence. You have to be persistent. You have to be, I would say, at least try to make 2 posts a week. You can't just make a post and then think that you can be okay with making a post 2 weeks later and that people will remember. And I would try to say, don't just, as a wrestler especially, never just post randomly. Actually try to have things tie into something long term so that it makes sense, because you're trying to tell a story, whether it's in the ring or on the microphone, on the camera. And nowadays, no one ever teaches it, social media. So I think that being persistent, and because I'm persistent on that, I'm persistent training in the gym. I don't train as much in the ring, as I get older. But I'll be training this week at Bone Crushers in Cincinnati, Ohio. But just persistence. If you're not persistent on social media, you're gonna, in the algorithms, Brian Pillman Jr. teaches me all the time, like, don't do certain things because it'll mess up the whole algorithm and your post won't even be noticed. So nowadays they have where you can actually put money into the post and you can promote it.
We do that on ours all the time.
Yeah. I have a different method. I just send it to all of you because you're my sheep, and I don't understand if you're following me, and then I have the right to send it to all of you. So you all just get it. I love that direct message. Send. I recommend doing that too. Not everyone's gonna think that's a good idea, but I do that. But just, you have to be persistent and be creative. You can't just post mirror pics. You have to be creative. And not everyone's gonna be me. So that's another thing. Not everyone's the promo king.
Okay, so I've heard you reference that a few times. You said you're the promo king. So tell me, who were some of the promos? So
you gotta live up to that.
I ain't mad at it, but who were some of the promos that you were watching that inspired what we see from the self-imposed promo king?
Well, we got to say the Undertaker, Kane.
Kane like for promos?
But when he talked, it's the talking, it's the little things. It's not that he talked a lot. It's when he spoke, it was very menacing.
I'll give you that, because when once he took the mask off and all the hair came off, he definitely
you gotta remember, I'm not that old. You're older than me. You're an old man. You're an old sheep.
Hey, hold on, sir. Hold on with all that.
We're still in the under 30s crowd, sheep.
Ah, damn it. That's what I'm saying. I'm still under 30.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, that's good. You're not that old. But yeah, Edge. I loved Edge. Stephanie McMahon. She's got to. It's a lot of things. A lot of things. But it's not just wrestling. It's, a lot of people are like, they're inspired by just wrestling. I'm inspired by a lot of films and movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
Apocalypse. With Palpatine, Chef Palpatine. He's great. Voldemort, Lord Voldemort. A lot of these things.
That's a good one. That being said,
I'm not getting reality.
I'm not even going to hold you up. When you really think about it, and Corey, this is a movie I know you've watched. You've watched Harry Potter before. If we're talking about promos, Voldemort could spit some shit.
Oh, Harry. He was great.
Dude, and he was so cold-blooded with it, too.
There's a reason why they don't even want his name spoken,
it
just brings too much attention around,
He was cold-blooded, man.
So when you're thinking about how I plan out things, that's how I'm thinking like those guys, mixed with the Undertaker and some others.
So you mentioned Brian.
Inspired. You have to be inspired.
You mentioned Brian Pillman Jr. So Brian Pillman Jr.
Obi-Wan Jr.
So we first met Brian at a show out here that is now defunct, but we've linked up a few times through Starcast and all that, and been working it out. We've been talking about bringing him on the show for the longest time. It's just never worked out time-wise. But that being said, other than Brian Pillman, who are some of the guys out there right now that are on the indies or the main scene that you'd like to see Icon Lee, tangle up with?
I'd definitely like to have a match with Myron Reed, now that we spoke of him. Warhorse, very inspired by Warhorse. I'd like to get in the ring with him. I think me and him could I met Warhorse at Warrior Wrestling in Chicago.
Which one were you? Which was the last one you were at? Because I was at one of the Warrior shows last weekend and watched him run from the fucking end zone against Pillman, I think.
Last Warrior Wrestling wasn't last weekend.
No, I'm saying the last one I was at.
Yeah,
last season when they had the stadium
series.
series.
Yeah, the stadium series. I was actually at all three stadium series.
Yeah, so me and another one of our co-hosts were out there for the night when it was what was the main event on it? It was Tessa Blanchard and Kylie Ray, I believe.
Yeah, Kylie's awesome. She punched me in the face. I'm not very happy.
What are your thoughts on that, man? Kylie Ray, speaking of Warrior Wrestling, Kylie Ray's getting ready to make her return at Warrior Wrestling.
Well, when she's a champion, so when it calls, the champion's got to, wake up to that call, and that's exactly what she did.
I know, but she's been off TV, she left Impact, the same thing that basically it kind of happened.
She's literally the Warrior champion for the women.
Man.
I don't think Wonder Woman ever took a day off. She's fine. She's going to come back and she's going to be brilliant and she's going to defend her title.
So who do you got? Do you think she retains the belt against Thunder Rosa?
Of course. I have very, very high faith in Pokemon Girl. I think she's going to be brilliant. I think she's going to win.
So what do you got against Thunder Rosa?
I used to have a Gengar chain. I used to dance it like, yo, look Kylie, look at my Gengar chain. And then she got mad and she said, "Icon, pow," hit me in the face. The picture's on my Instagram. It was a horrible thing. I had a bruise. The bruise actually worsened because I got it in the 6-man scramble when Chandler Hopkins decided to do a dive. I'd actually like to have a match with him too. I'd whip his ass at Pele Pro. I owe him one. Oh, I'm just getting pissed.
Another past guest of the show, man. You've tangled it up with plenty of our past guests over here. But like Corey said, man,
a lot of false heroes and true heroes, right?
Well, speaking of that, man, how could you hate on wrestling, one of wrestling's biggest sweethearts right now in Thunder Rosa? I mean, after that match she just had with Britt Baker, people have been going insane.
Is he putting words in my mouth, Corey? Did I ever say I hate her? I never said
that. I never said hate.
The question.
My words. You got to listen to us sheep, man. We have important questions for you. And my question was, what do you have against her?
I don't have anything
that you hate her. What do you have against her?
We have no beef. I've never even spoken to her. Why would I have any feelings or any thoughts or any of that towards her because I've never met her?
Hey, I just was asking because you were so sure on Kylie Ray. I just had to see if Icon had any smoke with Thunder Rosa.
Live. I've seen her wrestle live. I know she's a warrior. She's actually the champion. How can you bet against a champion other than perhaps William AllDay? You can't bet against any champion, right?
Man, I feel like Kyle from Pele Pro, if you're listening to this dude is trying to book this into existence. He wants Will AllDay at the next show out.
I feel like Will AllDay has been thrown under the bus all day. That's what I feel.
Throw him under the bus. Throw him under the bus and have a purge with it.
Man, I might,
like that one, Corey.
I'm about to retweet, for those of you who aren't following us at KO3C Pod, I just retweeted the link to this here episode out. I might have to tag Will AllDay so maybe he can give his own response and things over here, man. It's getting hot and heavy.
He likes to stay silent. He's like a little silent mule. He stays quiet. Oh, unless he's saying, Myron, you're such a good friend. But remember, Myron was talking all types of crap towards him, right? But all of a sudden, I respect you.
Okay, so that being said, you mentioned Pele Pro. I was at both Pele Pro shows. There's no bell for me to ring, so fuck you, Devin. But anyways, at the last Pele Pro,
are you talking about Mr. Storm?
What'd you say?
Devin Storm?
No, I wasn't talking about Devin Storm. I was talking about
he's a brilliant man.
Our show, Mr. Devin.
Oh, okay.
But that being said, at that last show, we saw, quite the showdown between Niles Plunk and the magnificent Malico in a drinking contest. So
he's brilliant.
I mean, I'm just saying, it entertained the shit out of me. So if Icon Lee was in the drinking contest against Niles Plunk, are you drinking wine? Are you drinking? What are we drinking?
I was gonna say, you better not say that beer crap. Don't
Damn.
You dare say that beer. That's for the sheep. Okay,
Bro.
I like beer.
Damn, Corey, you're just even more down the hole.
I take it. So you gotta be a
what about
hard
a little
seltzer
Hennessy?
guy then, right?
Hennessy.
That's what I take it as, a hard seltzer,
We
like
can
a
do
good
that.
solid White Claw.
No, not a White Claw, Hennessy.
I mean,
Do
I
you wanna get
kind of thought we
smacked?
was going there.
Jesus Christ, what's wrong with Corey tonight?
Hennessy.
Hey, man,
Cognac, huh?
He wants
Hey, man.
White Claw.
Now, have you
Nothing
ever
against
had a
White Claw,
Hennessy?
but no.
Have you ever had a Hennessy infused muffin before?
No, I'm not.
Dude,
I
it
don't
was
go
the
venture
craziest
out.
thing. We went to this party, and I kid you not, they were cupcakes, but inside it had like a dropper, like just like squeeze it out, and you stick that in the top of the thing, and you could legit taste it, dude. If you ate too many of those, you would have been Icon would have been on another level. Let's just say that it would have been purge
because
mode.
you called me dude. I'm not dude. I'm your icon.
Excuse me,
Right.
sir. Icon
sound
would have been in
interesting, yeah.
purge mode, and we'd have to see how fast.
I like that. Yeah, purge mode.
Hey, man,
You're a little
look, see,
genius.
there's a reason why they let me flap my gums on this. Maybe it's because I pay the studio, or maybe it's because I got a microphone, but I digress. I'd like to think it's because people like to enjoy hearing me run my mouth. But with that being said, we talked about some of the people that inspired you in promos. In pro wrestling right now, who are some of the best promos out beside yourself?
Warhorse is a genius. It's not that he's cutting up the promo; it's the way he's doing it. He's a genius. Let me think. No, I don't really. There's not people just. I feel like certain guys just talk. They just. There's not.
Here, I'll throw out a name that's been sticking
Go
out
ahead,
to me
Charlie.
recently, and that would be Eddie Kingston.
Okay.
Eddie Kingston, I like for the exact reason that you were just saying, because had the big kaboom not really, if it had really gone kaboom between that and the promos that they were cutting up to that and after that, like the promo they cut about it not going kaboom, it would have been perfect story. It would have been perfect storytelling. I was there, ring the bell. Yeah, it didn't go boom, but it would have been a great story had it played out that way. But I don't know, man. I feel like
I'm the king, so I mean, it just doesn't. I'm the promo king, so it's really hard for me to just. You asked a very hard question for me to answer, but I do give props.
That's what we do here. We ask the hard questions.
Another hard question for the promo king himself.
Like knockout
Does the
questions,
promo
right?
king draw any inspiration from the MMA side of the world?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I wear lifting gloves. I used to wear lifting because I lift all the time. I used to post Icons lift, and interesting enough, that was like my Batman signal. I would post Icons lift every time I was in the gym. I since retired that last October, so no one knows when I'm lifting. But every time I was on Facebook or Twitter, I would post Icons lift, and that would for years let my fans know, or my sheep, whatever, would know that I'm actually in the gym. So I would definitely say that now I'm wearing the MMA gloves. That's like Brock Lesnar inspirations. I love Brock Lesnar. He's one of the best wrestlers of all time, I would say. And interesting enough, he retired the streak of another one of my inspirations, The Undertaker, who wore the gloves as well. So you can kind of see the comparisons with that.
Okay.
And
well, there isn't much better, honestly.
I don't really pay attention to MMA as much as maybe other people do. I do see a lot of it when it shows up on my timeline. I do follow, like I said, I have a friend who actually I went to school with before what I've become today. I went to school with him. He's an MMA fighter. And I repost his stuff and stuff like that, but I don't really keep up with it that much. I'm not going to sit here and try to stunt on MMA and act like I know a whole bunch about it.
Well, you couldn't have picked a much better person than Brock Lesnar to draw inspiration from, because even though his MMA stint may have been short, he was a champion for a reason. So you couldn't have picked a much better person to draw inspiration from on that regard.
Yeah, I mean, there's others, you know.
So you mentioned Brock Lesnar in MMA. I was there when Brock Lesnar won the heavyweight title off of Randy Couture in Vegas. And
Kyle, you were there for everything, weren't you? I'm just calling it out.
Some of us like
where's
the
teleport
everywhere
Kyle?
at all times.
Damn it.
Some of us aren't hermit crabs like you and like to go and explore the world.
Will you see these lovely wooden
It's
walls,
very
bro?
good to explore the world. I think it's wise to do that. It makes you a wiser person.
Well, exploring the world is how this interview here happened. So had I not been out exploring the world, we wouldn't be talking right now, Corey. One of these days,
I get to
would've
explore
eventually
lovely
discovered your
Detroit every single day, okay? I do plenty of exploring through the lovely 313s.
just explore damn Michigan.
To the 734s, all around the board.
So you just get to stay, man. Look here. If your ass doesn't, speaking of Warrior Wrestling, if your ass doesn't make your way down to Chicago with me for Warrior Wrestling, we might have a new video on the YouTube channel. Kyle drop kicks Corey in the face.
You better be at Warrior. You better be at Warrior.
Hey man, I've been trying to tell this dude, and we're trying to get past guests of the show, Mega Ran, out there with us too. So we're trying to make some stuff happen. Mega Ran, shout out to Mega Ran, him getting us the tickets to head down to Revolution, where his theme song Revolution was your theme song for AEW Revolution. I'm trying to get us all to reunite down in Chicago and get Derek to come down with us. So we might be out in full effect in Chicago, man.
I love Chicago. I was just there recently. It's a wonderful place, right?
Is it any more opened up now than the last time I was there? Because last time you couldn't even really go through like Millennium Park.
When I'm there for Warrior, it's like an in and out situation. I'm never there long enough to venture to the city. So when I went to the city 2 weeks ago, yeah, it was pretty open. You can walk around. There's people walking around. The movie theaters were open. Uno's Pizza was open. I love Uno's Pizza. It's brilliant.
Chicago's a lot of fun, man. I remember Devin and I took a trip down there for Money in the Bank, and I remember the faithful Blackhawk fans of Chicago were not fans of the fact that I said that I was Red Wings fan and fuck the Blackhawks. But hey,
well, there's sheep for everything. You can't disrespect the Blackhawks. Sheep. It's just disrespectful.
I mean, there may have been a little alcohol infused, and we were at a Bruce Pritchard show. There wasn't no
like the cupcakes, right? You like the little alcohol in the cupcakes.
Hey man, I don't even drink like that, but it was a good time. Bruce Pritchard was telling stories. Armando Alejandro Estrada showed up. It was good times in Chicago. But yeah, we were making friends with the Blackhawks fans. But like you were saying, Chicago is a great place to go. I'm bummed I haven't gotten to go to Wrigley yet. City. But as we talk about Warrior Wrestling, we talked about Warhorse. We talked about Myron Reed. We talked about a few people. What is it you think that makes Warrior Wrestling kind of stand out, from some of these other promotions that are making it such a hotbed? And, what are your immediate plans for Warrior Wrestling?
I think it's the atmosphere. The atmosphere of Warrior Wrestling it's a great atmosphere. The locker room is good. The sheep are good. The turnout's good, and they have just a rich history. I think it's a lot of a mutual respect between the sheep that follow the brand and the company. I think they both understand each other, and they expect a certain level of professionalism. And I think it's just a brilliant place, the location, the promoters, everything about it. And of course, they made a genius move by having me probably on more. I've been on the main show, but I've probably been on the pre-show of the event to kick off the event more than any other wrestler that's at my level. So I respect them so much for that. It's the first place I ever wrestled in Chicago was Warrior. So it's kind of like a Pele Pro thing down in Texas. I look at them the same way. And interesting enough, the promoter down there in Texas is, they're friends with the promoters up in Chicago. So
that's where I met
one family. It's cool. I love it.
Well, and it's ironic that you bring that up because the whole way we even got linked up with the whole Independent Wrestling Expo, the very first one and all that with Kyle was through Twitter. But then I went to Chicago with another one of our co-hosts, Kevin, and was down there. Well, you met Kevin at the first show. Kevin was down there with us in Chicago, and hey, man, you know, it's something when you're an icon, shit like that happens. But yeah, man, in Chicago, that's where we met Kyle as well. So I mean, it's crazy how the wrestling world I've figured out is like a lot smaller than you think. I mean, the world as a general is a lot smaller than you think, but especially when it gets into wrestling, because this guy knows that guy who knows that promoter, who knows this and that and the other, man. So it's like all one big, you know, it's all one big circle of life at one point. Well, before we let you get out of here, I know you've got a few places that you're planning an upcoming purge at. So why don't you tell us what's a little bit on Icon's reperenda and let us know what you got coming up.
This Saturday, I return to the Northern Wrestling Federation to be the leader of a team of true heroes such as Shady Frank, which I smacked him in the face in Texas, but you know, he's a good ally and he decided to join forces. We all decided to join forces together. Dakota Wolf, he's brilliant. He's going to be on my team. You know, he's a great wrestler. He's young. He started training about a year ago with the company down in Cincinnati, Ohio at Bone Crushers. And another wrestler, a couple other wrestlers. And we're going to destroy a group of false heroes that, you know, are led by, interesting enough, my protege, my first protege, the Prodigy. Oh, and excuse me, on my team, my second protege, Chris Demise. I can't forget about him. He's brilliant.
So you've got a little history with your opponents this weekend too.
Yeah, this is home. This is home for me. So I'm going to be returning home, and I'm basically going to have a team of true heroes dismantling a bunch of false heroes led by my son, the Prodigy. And I'm going to kick all of their asses. We're going to be victorious. That's
okay.
Then. And then I have a surprise in April. I'm not going to announce it yet until after I purge in Kentucky when I return home. And then after that, I am looking forward to something in May. And then perhaps we have a Warrior surprise. Perhaps we have a Pele Pro surprise. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know anything past a certain date. I like to think a couple of days out, but I don't like to think that far out unless it's something like extremely like big. But not that those wrestling at those particular events aren't big. It's just that I don't know that much information, so I'm not going to go ahead and speculate on something I don't know.
I know the next Pele Pro show is going to be June 19th. I was talking to Kyle about
nothing's announced, so it's like, you know, I'm not going to go out there. I mean,
no, I totally I get that, but before I let you out of here, you brought up a good thought. So Icon Lee, does Icon Lee watch any of some of the stuff we've been seeing now? We talked about it with past guests of the show, Myron Reed, as you mentioned, Gino Medina, Mecha Wolf, all three of them. So
cool.
Are you a fan of all the, you know, the superhero stuff? And have you watched WandaVision or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? And have you the Zack Snyder cut?
First off, I do like Mecha Wolf. He's cool. He can kick ass in the ring. I respect him. If anyone can cut a promo and has a look, it's Mecha Wolf. I met him at Pele Pro, and I think he's good. And WandaVision, I did complete. I liked WandaVision. I liked the two visions at the end. That was cool. How he transferred his mind into the other vision because, you know, he wasn't real. And he knew that the other one could survive with the data. That was awesome to see. I did like Falcon. I started Falcon and Winter Soldier. I liked the beginning. It was very theatrical and it was just well put together. Well, like the whole cannon when he's flying through the cannon. But you know, these are false heroes. So it's like I can only like them so much. So we need to figure out who's Falcon's true hero and how Falcon's gonna get his ass kicked. Did you like Justice League?
So full disclosure, I was never the biggest. So I've started to watch it yet. I got to watch it all the way through. That's one of my to-dos on Thursday. I haven't gotten to watch the Zack Snyder cut all the way through yet, but I have watched WandaVision all the way through, and I watched the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'm all caught up on that stuff. But for me, I call me simple, call me basic, whatever you want, but like I was always a big sports nerd when Corey and I were growing up, playing sports and all that good stuff. So for me, it was always either wrestling or sports. As I've gotten older, the movies are really what got me into it. And ironically enough, when we were down there in Texas for the second Pele Pro show, it wasn't like we could do a whole lot like we did the first time. So Devin sat me down and we ended up watching all 6 episodes of WandaVision that were out currently. And then I was like, well, shit, I don't got Disney Plus. So I had to go home and get Disney Plus. So I found myself down many different wormholes recently.
Services these days. You got to pick like a bunch of sheep. You just pick this one or you pick that one. You got to have them all. It's basically like you have a cable package. See how smart they are?
I know, man. We had to all go get Peacock because of this whole WWE Network deal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, good Lord. I mean, it's getting to be some bullshit between the UFC fight
Alex
pass.
Zane and WWE. Alex Zane, he's a great mentor of mine as well. I didn't get to mention him. Alex Zane, he's good. He's really good in the ring.
I'm really excited to see what we see from Alex Zane. He was actually supposed to be on the Warrior show I was at, but then didn't end up wrestling. I don't know if he had gotten hurt or what had happened, but Alex Zane's definitely a good pickup for WWE and NXT, along with a fellow past guest that
get far.
Hey man, everything I've seen from that guy, I've enjoyed. And I mean, he's up there with fellow past guests of this show, you know, Nash Carter of, you know, MSK. And
he gave me a lot of good advice on the way up to Warrior Wrestling. I respect him for that.
See, and that's the thing, man. You know, guys that are going to be willing to pass it on.
When it comes to social media, Alex Zane is a very, very good professional wrestler. Him, Warhorse, you know, Leo Rush, a lot of I mean, they're at a certain level, but they were at the independent level before they all got signed, and they were still kicking ass on social media. You know, Warhorse was in AEW, but before all that, he was always they were always persistent on social media. So I mean, a lot of those guys, they're really good at being wrestlers, professional wrestlers.
Well, we're getting to the end of our time here. So if you've got any last parting words for any of your opponent or your sheep, you know, let them know and let everybody know where they can find you.
Young Juice, this Saturday, you're in the 5-man tag team, and just know I'm going to whoop your ass for talking a lot of crap that you shouldn't be talking on social media. You know, you haven't been doing anything. You haven't done anything. And now you get to step in the ring with Icon Lee. And the Prodigy can't save you. Noah Gabriel can't save you. And none of those guys on the Future Star division can save you in that match. And as far as Pele Pro, William, stay out of my way. And anyone in that scramble match, stay out of my way. And as far as Warrior, whatever you want to give me, I'm really, really excited to handle it and take advantage of it. And I'm gonna kick ass there. And anywhere else, just know that your icon is coming, and that this and any ring is my domain. And that's simply put. And I'm the promo king. And you can catch me tomorrow on Wrestling Travel. That'll actually be another podcast / show. It's going to be on YouTube, and I'll be doing that with them. I'm very honored to be on that show tomorrow. You can go and get my shirts at prowrestlingtees.com, Icon Lee. And also you can follow me on all social media, including TikTok. I'm not as good as certain people on TikTok, but
are you trying to say Will AllDay is better than you at something?
What?
I said, are you trying to? I mean,
no. I was actually in my head. I was thinking about Alex Zane. I look at a lot of people as competition. I respect and I look at a lot of people as competition. Alex Zane is really good on TikTok. He gets a lot of creative content. So I mean, but yeah, TikTok, follow me, Icon Lee. Instagram, Icon Lee. Twitter, Icon Lee. YouTube, subscribe, Icon Lee. Icon Lee, Icon Lee. I'm your damn icon. And we're just getting started. My ride.
He's your damn icon, and subscribe to all of his channels, and make sure you hit that motherfucking subscribe button and check out your boys from Knockouts and 3 Counts and get you one of these fine shirts right here. Just saying.
And follow Knockouts on Twitter as well. You guys follow them. Follow your brand on Twitter. Follow this podcast.
Hey man, we greatly appreciate it. We appreciate you retweeting everything out. Like I said, man, it definitely won't be the last time we bring you on the show. Hopefully I'll see you at another Pele Pro show or something like that. hey man, you're from the Ohio area. Let's see you make your way over here to the Mitten, and maybe we'll see you here in person here in Michigan. And until next time, and in the in-between time, check us out live this Thursday, 9 p.m. Miranda Gordy will be back with us. But this week, we got to be talking about UFC 260, Stipe, and the man whose hands are bigger than my fucking head, Francis Ngannou, are getting ready to go to war this Saturday. So there's a lot for us to talk about. Come this Thursday, 9 p.m. live on Facebook and YouTube. Until next time, and in the in-between time, fuck your couch. Peace.